So we're going to try to make sense of all of this week. Welcome to Talk Time.
Mido, Ghana Biana. I'm going to do about this every time I say, baby, shit. My gosh.
Junior! I'm saying so enough for me, you know.
Sister Cospa, it's a winning gas.
I'm used to it. Why? My wife.
Down Yankanawa.
Sister Cos. Use gas. Gas ye fast, ye easy, ye convenient. And wow.
LPG, let me see your hand. Ooh,
But welcome back to Talk Time. As I indicated from the beginning, we're going to be talking about petroleum. And it is my very distinguished pleasure to welcome to the studio Dr. Toni Aubynn, Chief Executive Officer of the Petroleum Hub. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Kwesi. Thank you very much.
Petroleum Hub, what is it?
Right. First of all, let me say thank you once again for inviting me here. It's about my second or third time of coming on a different program here. And it's also a privilege to be interviewed by the legend himself. So, Kwesi, I really, it's a special time for me. I'm going to record it in my diary. So, look, the Petroleum Hub, it's Ghana's attempt to maybe replicate what Kwame Nkrumah tried to do by thinking big, hitting above his hip. When Kwame Nkrumah dreamt about Akosombo Dam, people thought it was such a big project and that Ghana was too young for that project. People sabotaged him and all that. Now, the Akosombo Dam, having served us, has become a small project.
Yeah.
So I think Ghana is now dreaming big. And so the hub is an attempt to have an enclave, just prepare the land, have a piece of land, provide some incentive for people to come and build petroleum-related infrastructure for manufacturing, for industrialization and all that. In fact, in this petroleum hub that Ghana seeks to develop, it would be located in the Jomoro, in the Nzima area. And that a piece of land, the government is acquiring a piece of land on which we'll build 3 refineries to refine oil, then some storage tanks to store petroleum product, and then use the petroleum or the crude that we have and which will be imported and other fossil fuel to create industries. I mean, we have issues now with fossil fuel in terms of its impact on climate and all that. But human being will still use plastics, will still use even the pomade that we use and many other, the dresses that we wear, you still have some petroleum product in it. So we'll still have to do that. So whilst we move away from the use of crude to power our industries, we also have to have a way of industrializing using the crude or the gas that we have. So in brief, that is what the Petroleum Hub is. In the world, every continent, let me start with continent, has at least one petroleum hub there. South America has one. In North America, they have quite a number of them. Europe, you have Rotterdam and all that. They all have a petroleum hub. And then Singapore. Singapore is the size of Singapore is like Accra, or slightly bigger than Accra. They had to borrow land from the sea. Yet they have, and they don't drill oil there. Yet they have the third biggest petroleum hubs in the world. Even Rotterdam, they don't have oil. They don't drill oil there, but they have they've used that to create jobs, to industrialize and all that. So I think it's Ghana's very, very novel attempt to, maybe not novel, but attempt to sort of think big. And even if it is delivered slowly, that is the thought translated slowly.
So what exactly will your outfit be doing? Your outfit is not a refinery.
That's right.
None of those things.
That's right.
So what will your outfit be doing?
Thank you very much. My outfit, which is the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation, is the creation of Parliament. I think by Act 2020, Act I think 10553. Now, so we are a creation of Act of Parliament. Our duty is simply to facilitate this, the building of this infrastructure and to manage, on behalf of government. The project will not be built by government. Government is facilitating. It's purely a free zones enclave. So government is acquiring this piece of land in the Nzema area, Jomoros precisely, and then we will be facilitating this, and that's what we are doing now. The one thing that really impresses me about the role of the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation is how to reduce regulatory time for investors. And when I say investors, I quickly add that investors do not mean foreign investors. Oftentimes we refer to investors and we think that, it's foreign. We are encouraging Ghanaians to take interest. These days, partnership exists. So you can partner with foreigners, not allow them to come and completely dominate it, but partner with them and then build it. So investors spend time when they're looking for regulatory permit. For instance, a study that we did, if someone was going to build, let's say, a fertilizer plant on the hub, the person would need about 346 days to acquire all the permits required. Which investor has the time to spend on 348 days? Whereas if it were organized well, if institutional inertias were taken away, it could be done quickly. When I took office, we organized the interagency dialogue, and we promised that once we are able to cooperate very well, we can do those things in 30 days.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you can do it in 30 days because it's about, you go to EPA, go come, because maybe your papers are not right and all that. Then from there, you go to Water Commission, go come, and then you go to another ministry, another agency and all that. So if we were all partners, we were all working collaboratively and not in silos, we could do that simultaneously. We could review the permit application simultaneously, so that within 30 working days, you should be able to issue a permit that is effective. You don't have to, tamper with the quality. The quality and requirement must be absolutely adhered to. But the time, you can actually kill time in between.
Is this whole idea dependent on our own capacity to produce petroleum?
No. As I said, Singapore doesn't drill oil. We even have 200 or less than 200 barrels of oil a day, which is not enough at all for what the dream about the hub is. But we think that once we create that opportunity, Ghana will become the hub for the refining of petroleum products from various countries. Don't forget that Africa has discovered quite a number of what do you call it? Petroleum. We've discovered Namibia has a huge quantity. Mozambique, Angola, and of course, almighty Nigeria, 250 million barrels a day. And then gas is also, Nigeria has huge quantity of gas. Ghana is also going to have that, given what we know. And so, and gas is cleaner than the crude in terms of energy supply. So, gas is going to be the major source of power in a way as we move away from the fossil fuels somehow. So, and of course also Ghana is a member of AFTA, this African Continental Free Trade Area, where, customs is actually, I'm talking about taxes and all that are removed. So you can have oil from Namibia move to, Accra to refine. And Kwesi, in Africa, about 85% of our petroleum product consumption is imported. 85%. Even Nigeria, which produces 250 barrels, 250 million barrels a day, they still import about close to 70% of their petroleum product needs. It means that we produce, send the crude, they refine and bring them to us at a higher cost. So if we could do it internally, and the demand keeps going up because of growth, the demand for petroleum product keeps going up. So if we did it internally, it will be cheaper because Nigeria brings oil here to let's say to be turned into some industrial product. It goes to Nigeria. Transport is very short. Again, we do have, there's no tax on that and all that. So we think if Africa will look inward to do some of these things, it will help. So we are not going to rely on our 250, on our 200, sometimes even much less barrels of oil. There won't be anything, but you could bring oil from Azerbaijan. Ghana is trying to take advantage of its location. The President Mahama, the other time joked that, of course, Ghana is at the center of the world. Additionally, if you look at the map of Ghana in the map of Africa, it looks like a gate. So we are the gateway to Africa. So I think we need to take advantage of our location, of our political environment, the fact that we are relatively stable. In fact, within our continent, we are one of the most stable politically, And then if the quality of the human beings, Ghana can boast of some relatively good quality human resources. We've done natural resource extraction for some time. The benefit is another debate. But at least that has also trained some human resources in that area, some of whom are even exported to, they are expatriates in some other countries. So I think we should be able to do that by the investors bringing crude from elsewhere, like they do in Rotterdam or Singapore.
Well, viewers, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will continue with the conversation on the Petroleum Hub. And when we come back, I'd like to find out, first and foremost, what is then going to happen with the existing infrastructure? Okay. You have Tema Oil Refinery, you have Bost, and so on. Are they going to be incorporated into new projects? Will they stay on their own? What is going to happen with the existing infrastructure that we have? Short break.
Mido, Ghana Biana. I'm going to you about this every time I just say, baby, shit. Mangashi.
Junior! I'm saying so enough for maybe the no.
Sister Kwesi pa. It's who need gas.
I'm used to the why. Why?
Down yanka na wa.
Sister Kwesi. Use gas. Gas ye fast, ye easy, ye convenient. And wow.
LPG, let me see your hand. Ooh, I got yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, hello and welcome back to Talk Time, and we are in conversation with Dr. Toni Aubynn, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation.
That's right.
Yes. Now, sir, what's going to happen to existing infrastructure? Tema oil refinery, boss, whatever.
Yes, we will partner, and again, sometimes we were so lucky to have Kwame Nkrumah. At the time, President Nkrumah built Tor, or thought of it. We didn't have oil, but he thought many years ahead and built oil. Tema oil refinery refines 45,000 barrels a day, which is quite small. It has been so for a long time with all the problems over time. And this is for government. It's a state infrastructure, so nobody touches it. And Tema oil refinery can have another refinery even on the hub. As an own infrastructure, and they can take advantage of the many advantages that the hub brings to investors over there. So we are in fact in partnership, not in competition. BOST can build some of its infrastructure on the hub, and that might bring additional. Land will be available for BOST, and I think the sub-region is also looking more for storage, and a space to do that will be the hub for BOST. So I think we are sort of sharing ideas, partnering to see how these infrastructure could be located. We are not competing. They will still continue to do what they're doing. Our target actually is largely for export. So the rule is that like a typical free zones area, 70% of what you produce will be exported, and then the 30% will be kept in-house for country consumption. So we are inviting foreigners and other local investors to invest on the hub and take advantage, and then also can export their product, given that Ghana is a safe area to do business. The Constitution of the Republic also sort of protect their assets, their profits. They can repatriate their profit. And there's also another advantage of, some tax holidays, just as it is for the free zones area when you are there. So we will continue to partner. BOST will continue to be government entity. In fact, they are even now inviting foreign partners into BOST. It's a matter of investment. So if you invest here, it remains here. I think Tor is also doing the same thing. That's why it may be the case that they may also come and take advantage of the space that is available to build their infrastructure.
Looks like we're talking about big investments, very big investments. Do we have the infrastructure for financing, such big projects in the country? And if we don't, what are we doing about it?
Super. I think the idea of government is not to actually provide finance for the project. Government will provide the facilitation, will provide the all the services that is required. For instance, when government is acquiring the land first and foremost, and it will provide basic services on the land. The rest, the land will be leased to the investor who comes in at a fee, And then the investor will have to come. Some of them are EPC, some of them come with EPC plus finance. Some of them are also, they come with everything. So if you agree that you are going to build a refinery, then you look for all your investment. And those who have been approaching us, in fact, we've had a number of approaches. They come and they tell us that we have they come with consortium. They come and say, we are doing it with this. And so this one is providing finance. That one is providing the construction expertise and the EPCs and all that. So, I don't think the estimated 60 billion investment, Ghana will be able to just go to its pocket and cough it out. But we're inviting people from deep pocket. It could be, and if, by the way, there's a Ghanaian private business person. I won't mention the name because he hasn't authorized me to do so, who is actually partnering with some Saudi investors to invest in this area. So it will be, maybe if it comes into fruition, it might be Ghana and the Saudi company joining together to do that. The source of their funding would be from outside, definitely. So if it works, and when it works as we expect it to work, there will be rather inflows from outside rather than outflows from Ghana.
It is said that you're expecting about $60 billion in investments. Can this economy hold $60 billion? And I mean this economy, financial institutions, everything. There's $60 billion coming into Ghana. What will be the impact?
Thanks. In fact, before I go directly to your question, I searched and found out the 10 biggest projects in Africa in the next 10 years. And I realized that the Petroleum Hub of Ghana, but I was excited to see it, even if we haven't started much. The Petroleum Hub was number 2 because our estimated figure is 60 billion. And the number 1 was the Enga Dam project in Congo, which is between 80 and $100 billion. So huge amount that your mouth can only see, but your hand may not touch. Now, but I think the way it is handled, the economy can uptake it because they may not come in cash. Some may come with 10 key infrastructure, like come with a refinery which is already ready but broken down and just fixed there. But the exciting side is also the fact that in the hub there will be a complete township, a complete modern township, which is what I believe Ghanaians would be very actively involved in this because the building of those townships will not be done by foreigners. I'm sure we are going to do that ourselves. And then we will also need jetties and harbor infrastructure. You know, the Jomoro area has the deepest of our ocean. So I think deeper than Tema and Takrade, if they are not drilled. So it provides an advantage for a harbor that can berth in vessels of any size. You know, you cannot say that this vessel cannot come here because it's too big. We can now have a place where that would be able to berth there. So I think we will be able to uptake. And I believe that our banks would also prepare themselves for that, for what is happening. And that's why we are also educating people, educating the private sector, and even the public sector. But I'm just coming from a training in Ho. I needed to come because I didn't want to miss this one. So and we're being taught to be ready and just try and offload some of the old public service attitude. And, just be, mimic a bit of the private sector in terms of their efficiency. Of course, bureaucracy has always been good, but bureaucracy doesn't mean inefficiency. And that's what we've been taught to do.
Well, viewers, we're talking to Dr. Toni Aubynn, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Petroleum Hub Development Authority. And we just spoke about the expected investment, huge, 60 billion. When we come back, I'd like us to look at some of the benefits. Perhaps we could start with employment. How much employment do we think that this hub is going to generate? And what's the basis of the assumptions that we make and so on? So short break.
Mido, you're not Biana. I'm going to you about this every time. I just say, baby, shit. Man, gosh.
Junior!
I'm saying so now for maybe the no.
Sister Kwesi pa. It's who gas.
I'm using the why. My why?
Down yanka na wa.
Sister Kwesi. Use gas. Gas ye fast, easy, convenient.
LPG, let me see your hand. Ooh, I got
Welcome back to Talk Time, and we are in this exciting conversation with Dr. Toni Aubynn. And we're talking about the Petroleum Hub, somewhere in the Jomoro area of Ghana. Now, so we're talking about the benefits, new township, even the possibility of a new harbor.
That's right.
And so on. How does it look like in terms of employment generation? What are we looking at?
Yeah. Uncle Z, about a month ago, I was in a place called Johor in Malaysia. I visited the phase 1 of their hub. Amazing project. And the guys told me that we employed 82,000 people to put this thing together. 82,000. And it's the phase 1. And I know that Malaysia is a bit more technologically advanced than us, and I'm sure they will use a bit more technology in their construction than we would do probably. And so I anticipate that even the phase 1 alone might, hire over 100,000. But please, I want to be very clear, because when I say this elsewhere, people think that I said the job has already, it's ready and all that. Everybody is looking for a job.
They should bring the application.
Exactly, they are coming.
Yes.
But our estimation is that if the project, everything comes to account, if everything comes to fruition, we are estimating employment of about 780,000 direct and indirect jobs. So that's the basis of that is the kind of projection that we have. We are not only building the core infrastructure like refineries and tank farms and 5 petrochemical plants, and this include fertilizer, polypropylene production, and all those things. So we all this that's not enough. We are also building ancillary project. There'll be a lot of ancillary activities, including banking, including when I saw the plan, we have a quaternary hospital, which is a replication of Legon Hospital over there. And we are also very close to Ivory Coast. So, Jomoro is close. It's where Hafasni is. It's where the the border is. So we are close to Ivory Coast and we can trade more together from that point. And it's also close to the, and we are thinking about the future. It's also close to the Trans-ECOWAS highway. So, you can imagine the kind of trading activities that could occur over there. So as for employment is key for us. And I know His Excellency, the President, President Mahama, is really keen at generating job for the youth. Now, we have even created a portal where, we are getting people who are interested, because when we start, we will have to train people, make them available for employment. So we have a portal where a good number of names and details could be found. So that is important. We also expect that once this comes into fruition, and we are looking at, let's say, 10 to 12 years when it is fully built, that is if everything goes well, it will hit the economy by about 70%. So the economy would grow by about 70%. That is our expectation. The southwestern part of the western region would have also opened. If you go to Jomoro, they are naturally, they are fisher folks and then farmers. So, but there will be this modernization of the place, which is a problem sometimes to people. But as we develop, definitely there will be changes in infrastructure, in the outlook of the place, in the standard of living of the place and all that. So for me, that's also very, very important. The fact that the amenities of the area will be improved. That is how people's amenities get improved. When projects goes to places, then the roads go there. I think they are thinking of some railway system and all that. So the economy would benefit greatly from the development of the hub. Job will be created, economy will be boosted, infrastructure will be opened up for them. So it'll be fine.
Whatever it takes, there will be some initial commitments from Ghana. You have to make roads, build drainage system, maybe railways and so on. Where is that going to come from?
Yes, we have to look at government's own plan. Government own plan for development, and then fix ourselves in there. The other time I had the opportunity to have a private chat with the Minister of Roads and Highways, and he said, "Look, come and let us sit down, so that when we are having our road plan, we know which areas to prioritize. So we can depend on government plan to develop the country and to prioritize areas for development. So that's what we're going to do. I think government and ECOWAS, they have plans for extension of rail lines to that direction. Is there any way of, sort of quickening that up because of the hub? Or even if we don't do a full hawk of that, we could just start something as we also start the phase one. And then we take it from there. So government will acquire the land. That is a government commitment, but that land acquisition will be paid for by the project itself. It is not like government will have to put the money in there and never get it back, because once the land is serviced and the investors come and acquire those land or lease those lands, they will not lease it at zero price. They will have to pay the economic price for it. And that will, if government took money from anywhere, that will go and replace that source. So, and of course, it is government responsibility to develop its own country. So if it chose one place to develop, and that was aligned with an economic project like that, I think that's so much the better.
Now, what is going to be government's interest beyond the provision of land and basic infrastructure in the enterprises that are going to come up there? Is government going to have a stake in the enterprises themselves?
Absolutely. When it comes to oil and all those things, I would not advise government to stay away completely. government must have its skin in the pie. And in fact, we are looking at various models. We are looking at PPP, BOT, BOO, and they call it BOO, and I've forgotten the other term that we use. So the government will have some, even where it is BOO, government will have a certain amount of stake. And for the developer themselves, for the investors themselves, they must be interested that government has a small skin, even for nothing, where they say it is build, operate, and own. Government must have a skin in that, because our land law the land law does not allow a foreigner to own land in perpetuity. So that alone means that government must be there so that your ownership can go for a long time. If it is built, operate, and own, then your ownership would have to terminate maybe after 50 years if you go by that. So again, that's the way government. And then there are some infrastructure that government will have to do it, either PPP or BOT, simple. Something like the port infrastructure. You cannot cede your port to a foreign investor. So you have to do that. The foreign investor may do some jetties and things like that. And that one, government will have to come in if it sees the economic benefits of it. In terms of the ancillary project, again, private sector from Ghana would have to be active in that. But where other other investors are coming, there's a way of getting taxes after a while, except that the taxes kicks in quite late, because they have 10 years of recouping their investment, after which the tax kicks in. But, that said, the tax will anyway come at a point in time. And of course, income taxes will also be there. If people work and their incomes are high, the government will always have its income tax. That one will not be until after 10 years. It will be immediate.
Well, we're going to go for another short break. And when we come back, I'd like to ask perhaps a tricky question. Because this sounds all like a free zones arrangement. So why the need to create a special entity when the Free Zones Board is there? So when we come back from break.
Middle, you're not Biana. If I give you a baby, so every time I just say, baby, shit. My gosh.
Junior!
I'm saying so enough for me, dear, no.
Sister Kwesi, it's a winning gas.
I'm used to it, why? My wife.
Down Yankana wa.
Sister Kwesi, use gas. Gas ye fast, ye easy, ye convenient. Wow.
LPG, let me see your hand. Ooh, I got
Welcome back. And we are in conversation with Dr. Toni Aubynn, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Petroleum Hub Development Authority. Now, sir, all this sounds like a free zones operation. And we have a free zones board already. Why the need for the hub?
Absolutely. That's a very good question. I think the need for the hub, the cooperation, emanates from the desire of government to focus, to provide a specific focus on the petroleum hub. This is a highly, I think it's a very specific project. The Free Zones Board just provide the land, and then you can do what you want to do according to the requirements.
Biscuits,
exactly, or shares, exactly. So, yeah. But this, it's a specialized area. government want to make sure that the focus is more on one thing: the petroleum hub, petrochemical industries, petroleum infrastructure, petroleum processing infrastructure, and petroleum storage infrastructure as well. So you need a dedicated, specialized entity to facilitate that. So I believe that is what went on when they were considering all these things. I heard at a point in time that they would say, "Oh, why don't you put this under some agency or something like that?" But the other thought, which I support, was that this is a specialized area. This is a very big investment area. So you cannot subsume it under an agency that is also busy with other things that they're doing. So I think it's also for efficiency.
I'm sure you've seen the security reports on the coastline in West Africa. Doesn't look very impressive.
Yeah.
How does that pose a challenge?
Yes, it's a huge challenge, especially, investors are very coward. Investors are cowards. They want to go to where they can feel comfortable. So when they see the kind of dynamics on our high seas, they are scared. And just as all of us get scared also, because you never know what happens to something coming to Ghana, which is not petroleum product. But I'm happy that Africa is alive to that project. They are thinking about that. The world is looking at that. In fact, in Ghana, there's a major naval post in the Jomoro area. I think the naval post, and they would be looking at the seas, covering the Jubilee fields and all the fields around. So we are hopeful. It's not a good news, but we know government is alive to the challenge and is doing something. There's a big military post over there in Jomoro, and I believe there's also this African effort to fight this what do you call it, the pirates. And all and other global effort.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Well, viewers, we've been talking to Dr. Toni Aubynn, who is in charge of the development of the Petroleum Hub. Somewhere in Jomoro in the Western region. It's a $60 billion project. Comes with huge benefits and so on. We wish you well, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We do hope that you keep the line on Pan-African television, which brings you the best in everything. Best in news, best in current affairs, best in sports, best in everything. Stay with us until we meet again next week. Bye-bye.